Hey, how you doing? And welcome back.
Hi.
All right, this week's vlog is entitled "More on the Usual and Customary." So, as usual, hello and thank you for following along.
All right. We hope you're warming up to the idea that it is the simple things that are the most beneficial to your overall health and wellness and longevity. So, we've got a little bit of a quiz for you here. We know what is healthy and beneficial to you and your body. So, here we go. Here's the quiz: broccoli or candy?
Hmm.
A good night's sleep or living on 3 hours of sleep each day?
Huh.
Getting outside and moving around or sitting at the computer 15 hours a day?
That's a toughie.
Water or soda?
Another toughie.
Did you get 4 out of 4 right?
Of course you did.
Probably.
Everybody did.
And yet, over two-thirds of the US population are either overweight or obese. 42% are obese. Just look around.
42% are obese, and every one of them knows would have gotten a 4 out of 4 on that quiz.
It's true.
So, you know all this.
While weight is an issue, it is the lifestyle that leads to weight gain and all of the many other health problems that proves to be the real problem,
Mm-hmm.
not the weight gain or diseases or disorders themselves. Get what we're saying?
Yeah, so it's the disease, the disorder, the sickness that you have, the weight gain and everything else is the product of a lifestyle. You weren't walking along perfect and everything was wonderful, and then all of a sudden one day you caught a heart attack, or you caught Alzheimer's or something along those particular lines. It just simply doesn't work that way. As they told us in chiropractic college, you've been in training for that for years. I know with Alzheimer's, they're thinking now, that's an old timers thing, and it really isn't. They're finding that the changes are beginning in people as early as 20 and 30 years old.
For sure.
So it's the lifestyle that leads to these things. Eventually, it says kablooey.
Right. What you see in the mirror is the product of the life you lead. It doesn't just happen because the gods are angry at you.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you're leading a life that would displease the gods, then I guess you deserve what you get.
Yeah, that's a very important point. If you're leading a life that would displease the gods, then I guess the gods will be angry at you and you get what you deserve. But if you're not, it's just not going to happen because the gods aren't angry at you.
Yeah, you're not like smoked with diabetic neuropathy. I
Yeah,
mean,
just because
yeah,
it's your number got pulled. No, you earned it. You lived the life that destroyed the blood flow to the nerves. The nerves died, and there we go, neuropathy.
one would simply not be unhealthy or ill without a lifestyle that led to unwellness. I'm going to read that whole thing again. One would simply not be unhealthy or ill without a lifestyle that led to unwellness and disease,
Yeah.
and in fact caused them.
Yeah.
So please think about this and let
Please.
it soak into that melon of yours. So we'll give it to you again. One would simply not be unhealthy or ill without a lifestyle that led to unwellness and disease and in fact caused them.
You get that. It's created. Genetics and everything else. Well, the truth of the matter is they went through that big genetics thing and they found person to person that 99% we're all the same, 99% of the gene makeup. So there has to be something that can influence the genes to express certain illnesses and diseases in one person, whereas it doesn't. That's a whole topic known as epigenetics. We won't talk about that here, but that's really the thing. So it still is a lifestyle. I mean, you've got genes for gosh knows what all, but many of them don't get expressed because you're not eating or living the lifestyle that would express them.
Right.
Yeah.
The best analogy I heard for that at a seminar was basically we are all equipped with the same piano, right? So like all music can be played on the
All
piano.
right.
It's just your choice to choose what song is played, right? So you've got keys for like horrible cancers and awful, the big bad scary stuff, and then you've got sweetness and light over here. So you're really in the driver's seat on that line as to like what kind of gets played. You may have this history of um, all your grandparents have Alzheimer's. There's still a lot of things you can do with cardio and diet and things of that nature to, and really hedge your bet. So
Yeah, it
it's not a
really
death
is.
sentence.
And you might as well anyhow, because in the end, as odd as it sounds, healthy people generally tend to be healthy. Unhealthy people generally tend to be unhealthy. So it's like, you should probably pursue health instead of doing whatever you want and now try and figure out as a unhealthy sick person how you can get healthy again when you have not led the lifestyle that would have pursued the path of health and wellness, if you get that.
Right. And for this discussion, we're describing chronic illnesses like heart disease, cancer, chronic lung disease, stroke, Alzheimer's, diabetes, and chronic kidney disease. A
Mm-hmm.
chronic illness is a disease that has lasted a year or more and requires ongoing medical attention or limits activities of daily living. These are the heavy hitters, and it is thought that 6 in 10 adults in the US, at 60%, have one chronic illness, and 4 in 10 or 40% have two or more chronic illnesses.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. I mean, we're talking about the biggies. And the thing about it is, as we'll see, every one of those diseases essentially comes from an inflammatory lifestyle. No sleep, no sun, staring at computers, no exercise, eating unhealthy inflammatory calories, sugar, flour, grains, omega-6 vegetable oils, trans fats, all the stuff that, believe it or not, comprises almost, yeah, it does. It's 60% of the average American's diet. So 60% of what we're eating is trying to kill us.
Right.
Odds are it's going to get you.
Right. And you've got a lot, so you've got a lot of like environmental pressures and stuff that are kind of like already tipping the scales. So all the more reason why you want to kind of do everything you can that's borderline free to, you know, tip them back the other way. You've got a lot of stuff working against you, a lot of advertising dollars and stuff trying to ensure that you stand for badness.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're talking about not ending well. We are talking about death or worse, and we might be talking about you and those that you love. So here's the score. Chronic systemic inflammation is the common thread to all these chronic illnesses, and perhaps to many acute diseases such as the flu or common cold.
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound real complicated, right? Like, yeah, we know we're not very sophisticated, and he's not a scientist, I'm not an expert. And now, with all that being settled, it doesn't change a thing. Chronic systemic inflammation is the common thread to all of these chronic diseases.
Yeah.
So
You name it.
that's the song you're playing. If you're not sleeping, if you're eating garbage calories, you're doing this racket with your blood sugar, like the spike and crash kind of stuff, like things fail, and you don't want to be playing that song for too long. It winds up in one of these ugly chronic illnesses.
Yeah, it's like whack-a-mole. You don't know which guy's going to come up. It's going to. If you're pursuing an unhealthy lifestyle, one of these moles someplace is gonna come up. Is it the big baddie? Is it not such a bad thing? Is it no big deal? Eventually, it's going to be a big baddie.
Right.
You're pursuing that lifestyle, and I know sound like a broken record here, but that's really it. They keep trying to find what causes this, what causes that, you cause it.
Right.
Your lifestyle, the way you eat, the way you live, the people you hang around with, the way you think, and everything else, you cause all of this stuff.
Another interesting one that's kind of like a little bit of a telltale sign. I ask people this question: how do you feel that you heal? Do you think that you heal rapidly? And just kind of think about that. It's an interesting one. Or think about how you used to heal even just a few years ago from a stub toe or a hike. We see a lot of that stuff of things that people used to get away with that they can no longer get away with. So that's like a telltale sign. That's, the ghost of Christmas future, if you will, saying, yo, this isn't cleaning up these systems aren't working the way that they should, and you're kind of sabotaging yourself down the line. Because again, the stub toe that kicks around for an extra week, not that big of a deal. But the big scaries, that could be, just listen to that body, and let that be a sign too. You might want to ramp up the broccoli.
Yeah, even inflammation or aging, that everybody gets worked up. There's a term that's used. It's called infla-aging. aging. I think I said that right. It's inflammatory aging. You put those two words together, and that's basically it. It's like, oh, I got older, and it's like, that's why I don't heal so fast. No, you're unhealthy. That's why you don't heal so fast. And you've been unhealthy for a very, very long time. And that's why you don't heal so well.
Yeah, you can get away with a lot for a really long time. And like, I was just talking with a doctor, a patient of ours, and he's like a new doctor, so his head's full of all these wonderful tidbits and stuff. The markers for when this body is actually supposed to legitimately kind of hit the wall are so far down the line.
Yeah.
And we start making exceptions. Oh, I'm 35. I'm almost 35. If I start, I mean, like, that's not, I'm 55. I'm 70. Like,
I
and it's
am
just, yeah,
35.
yeah, he is 35. It's inflammaging. No.
Yeah, inflammaging. That's what happened here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you to do this, but I live on cookies and Jack Daniels. Yeah, no, I don't.
Just like all the other famous YouTube people.
Yep.
Yeah, we have synthol muscles and Brazilian butt lifts. It's
exactly.
Awesome. And I'm
going to go get a little tightened.
Yeah, 100%.
This weekend. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is true. Like, don't like, yeah, just, it's not acceptable that like you're not healing. That's not a good sign. So
and it is something you can pay attention to. Like, I should be better by now, and I'm not. I wonder why. Well, I guess I'm old. No. I'll tell you why. Because you don't heal. Because your immune system is not fixing the injury. It's handling all the damage that's being done by the food that you're eating.
Right. And there's like a hierarchy in the body, and it's trying to clean up all the rest of the messes. And meanwhile, like rising in the east, this shadow is sitting there, and it could be one of the big scaries, or maybe something that's not as scary. But yeah, you want to make sure your immune system's not frantically cleaning up like a terrible burrito you ate or something.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, your immune system, rather than trying to fight off the COVID bug or some other cold flu thing or something like that, it's trying to handle Taco Bell last night and the potato chips and the French fries and the gallon of soda pop.
So chronic systemic inflammation is caused by a lifestyle where the person consumes pro-inflammatory calories in their diet. Change the lifestyle, change the diet, and a person could change the course of many chronic and acute diseases and disorders.
That's simple.
Playing a different song, however you want to think about it. I could tell you the source of pro-inflammatory calories, or as they are often referred to, dietary crack, but we know you already know what they are. We've discussed them in previous blogs, a lot of them.
Yeah.
That being said, we'll do it again.
We're going to tell you anyhow.
Any and all processed flours, grains, all sugars, polyunsaturated fats, and oils such as canola oil, sunflower, safflower, peanut, soy, and all other healthy vegetable oils and trans fats. Healthy.
Yeah, and I will say it's grain flours. So if you get almond flour or coconut flour, that's okay. It's grains and grain flour. So refined grains and grain flour. But yeah, if you can make cookies with some almond flour and not use any sugar or chocolate chips or anything, and use olive oil or coconut oil, you'll probably be okay.
No, but what's interesting though too is like a lot of people are going to hear that stuff and scoff. It's like, Thanksgiving's here now. What do you want me to do? And it's like, what we wanted you to do was, for the last 30 years, not abuse yourself so that you don't get your ass kicked by one meal at Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? And correct me if I'm wrong, like, it shouldn't be this punishing, horrible thing that's going to really tip the scales. You're allowed to have treats and enjoy home cooked meals that may include some of these things, because that wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back, right?
Right,
like,
because that's the whole point. It's like, yeah, all these things are inflammatory, and it's just, they just are. But are you never going to eat a chocolate chip cookie again? No. But the thing is
exercise and sun on certain, but
all of it.
Do
but
it all.
It's the 24/7 nonstop chronic inflammation that never ever resolves. And then you start throwing another log on the fire, and a little more gasoline, and another log, and a little more gasoline. And then everybody's surprised that, oh, that piece of pumpkin pie, that's what caused disease X. No, it didn't. That's just the straw that broke the camel's back. So your body is equipped to handle these inflammatory insults and stuff like that. as long as it's not 24/7, 365 days a year for decades.
Right. Just another quick example on that, because this is more my field that I see a lot of, is people go to the gym and they get on the hip thrust machine and they blow out their back. And they're
Mhm.
like, oh, that cursed machine, that thing is the death of me. That should be outlawed in the gym. It was the 8 hours of sitting with your low back inflection that distorted all the tissues. And then now the disc squished out under a little bit of load, which you last week were able to manage. So again, it's just, you know, all this foundation that you laid ahead of the time. And we always look at this tiny little sliver of thing and it's like, oh, it was the hike. I'll just stop hiking forever. It's like, no,
No.
adjusting your posture at work and lifting your monitor, you know what I mean? And then going to the gym, you're going to grow. That's a good growth stress from
Yeah.
that machine or
Yeah.
whatever, rather than now you have to come and see us for 10 days, you know, like that's no fun.
Yeah, nothing is as odd as it sounds, nothing is really bad for you except you. And that's what it boils down to. You can be bad for you. But, a chocolate chip cookie by itself, no, that's not bad for you. But you eating 1,000 of them and all the rest of the stuff, yeah, it's probably bad for you.
Yeah. So on the other side of that coin, we've got meat, vegetables, and healthy oils like olive, coconut, and avocado. Those are things that are not inflammatory. So those are like those have got the green light. And I mean, I'm sure you've got more specific recommendations, but like basically along that framework, I just eat as much as I can handle of those things, and I'm so full. There's not a lot of room for the bad boys in there.
Yeah.
Um, So, next blog, we're going to discuss a number of the metrics that can be used to determine how inflamed a person might be. And guess what? You already know what to do about it. If not just from this blog, but because we hear it all day long when we start to give everybody advice. Oh, yeah, 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 I'm doing that. I already know about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we recommend that everybody gets a copy of this book by Dr. David Seaman. He's a chiropractor,
Mm-hmm.
called The Deflame Diet, and learn it, live it, and love it. We've got actually like a book club coming up on the
Yeah.
30th.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So you can come in even if you haven't read the book and you want to learn about this and start to clean a few things up.
yeah.
That's great. It's not one fell swoop. It's a process that you will lead for the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah.
So we're not looking that, if you can't completely wipe everything out of your diet in the next 15 minutes, you're hopeless. But no, it's forever and ever and ever. And there's going to be times where, and then there's where you get a chance to eat a lot more vegetation, fantastic. And then sometimes you're going to get stuck having to eat something that's probably not that great. But thank goodness for your immune system and your body can handle it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's not distracted with other things.
Yeah. I will throw an aside in here, and it's an interesting concept. We're getting ready to enter what's known as the cold and flu season, right? And you get this idea that everything's cool. Once again, the gods are angry at us, and so they tell the bugs to come and vacation in Phoenix and wherever it is, or North America, or whatever. It simply doesn't work that way. What's interesting is that they find that the average person between Halloween and the 1st of January, New Year's Day, gains about 8 pounds. Just to give you an idea, on Halloween alone, they figure the average kid probably eats close to 7,000 calories of candy. So it's an interesting thing that this time of year, we really should be more hibernative and taking it easy and settling down, and should absolutely not be eating inflammatory type foods, like the sugars and the pies and the cookies and all the stuff that we're going to start to have during the holidays. So I can show you some interesting charts and videos about how this inflammatory situation leads to various lung infections and pneumonias and all sorts of different things, the way that works. So it's kind of an interesting thing that, and this is my personal theory on it, that right now would not be the time to start like, oh, what the heck, I'll start losing weight in the new year. You might not be around in the new year, depending on how heavy your inflammatory load is. You probably ought to right now start pounding the vegetation and start backing off on the refined flour or grain flours, grains, sugars, the vegetable oils, and the trans fats. So hold off on the cookies and all the rest of the stuff, maybe every once in a while. But and it'll be interesting. Yeah, you'll probably get a bug and stuff like that, but the outcome should be a whole lot better. And like I said, if you're interested, I can show you how all of that works. But it's just a thought now that it's cold and flu season and everybody thinks it's a great idea to get sick. Um, wow, it'd be a great time to start working on deflaming as best you can. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
and
for
uh,
sure.
and see how that works.
So book club on the 30th. And then the last final note here I've got is change your lifestyle, change your outcome, change your results, and change your future.
Yeah, that's really it.
That's it.
So if you like this, go ahead and hit that little thumb, and it'll do a magic dance for you. And if you have any comments or want to talk about any of this, please let me know. That'd be great.
Cool.
All
Take
right.
care.
Thank
Happy
you. Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Take care.